12, Mr. Azure is the winner.
Yes!
What? He didn't even state the lyrics. How could he know the answers? I must just be that good. Shut up, cheater. Well, you did get them all right, so there's nothing we can do about it. Huh? Better luck next time, Mr. Vinay. I swear this game is a bunch of bull. Can't believe I freaking lost. What's going on here? He's just paying me back for lunch. I'm bribing him. Don't make this awkward. Didn't we have a lot of fun today, Mr. Rene? Great game today, Mr. Rene. Look at it this way, Mr. Rene. At least you get to have a little bit more fun with us next week. There is no next week. Mr. Rene, this is a weekly show. Of course there's going to be a next week. Get him. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jake. This channel is called Jake of All Trades, and if you guys saw how I was announcing my reactions for last week, my double feature. I was gonna do Arcadia Girl and Unfair Game and release them on the same day, and I definitely did not do that. So, and what was especially awkward about that was that I had those recorded about a week and a half ahead of time because I pushed those off due to Influencer coming out. And despite having extra time to do it, I still couldn't get them done on time. So that was awkward. So if you haven't figured it out by the hints already or looked at the title of the video for some reason, today's reaction is Awkward by Band-Maid. And this one had a total of 67 votes on it, up from, I think, 47, if I remember correctly, last time. The last time that I counted and made the determination which video we were doing. And Slow Dog was definitely the MVP with this one, having 19 votes on it. I hear there's 3 different versions, the studio version, the live version, and the Band-Maiko version, so I will be reviewing all 3 today. But before we do that, I'm going to give a shout out to everyone who suggested this one. We have BM for Life with 4 votes, Curtis R. Robles with 4 votes, Davey Boyd with 2 votes, Jeff B5 with 3 votes, Greylock 100 with 4 votes, JK Kansas Band with 9 votes, Jonas S, Mr. Ed, OHL Rangers, Parker with 3 votes, Farron with 4 votes, Sandcrab with 5 votes, Shirty Face, Snowdog, like I mentioned before, having 19 votes, and those have been coming in pretty consistently. Surfing a Song Wave, Tef Physics, Tom Clark with 2 votes, Tom McFall, and Wayne Benedict. So thank you guys for suggesting this one. I am very curious to hear about how a song called Awkward is going to sound. Hopefully not too awkward. Hopefully it's awesome. But without any further ado, let's get started on the studio version. Okay, here we go. Awkward, the studio version. Definitely not an awkward start. It's a lot slower of a song than I was expecting. Foxy. was expecting the chorus to be a little bit more explosive, like some of the last ones that I've been listening to. Okay, now they're starting to ramp it up a bit more. Jeez, look at that picked up. There's the explosion. Gosh, these drastically different riffs. We got some like symphony type stuff going on now. I love these two Konami solo bits. That's just wonderful when that happens. Okay, now we're going to do Awkward Live 2017 at Studio Coast. Here we go. I just love how everyone's so calm during all this. Like, it's just complete focus. I'm already hearing a little bit, things a little better with this version. Having heard the studio version, I like the progression and build up now that I'm hearing this a second time. way. I like how prominent Konami's guitar is in the mix, because in some of the other live versions she's very much buried, but not here. That little run right there was just really cool to watch. I'm glad they zoomed in on her fingers for that. That was really cool. Okay, now for the final one. It's Band-Maiko's version of Awkward. And I am going to totally butcher this pronunciation, most likely. Akasimahen. That is my best attempt at that. And this video is on Fernando's Hideaway's channel, so I'll leave a link to this one as well in the description as well. All right, without any further ado, let's hear it. Such a different vibe. Much less percussion. Oh, okay, that caught me off guard. Just seems like a little sprinkle of like their normal instrumentation. The Cheeky's birthday. Happy birthday. Okay, there's some drums. Like, Konami's solo is just so much ambiance there. Jeez. Wow. I don't even know what to say about this. I'm going to have to digest this for a while. Holy cow. Okay, so if you guys have followed any of my videos, I'm actually recording this probably a few weeks after I did the first 3, because I had forgotten this one existed, and then as I was editing, getting it prepared, that's when I realized that there was an acoustic version, and I was looking around just to double check. I saw that there was an acoustic version on Band-Maid Prime. However, when I was looking through the legal stuff, like they're like, hey, if you reproduce this elsewhere and post it, you're violating our terms of use. So I'm like, maybe not do that one. So I'm gonna go for the one here on YouTube where it's awkward and YOLO. So I'm gonna pause it after awkward and then save the YOLO part to throw into the hopefully final time I'm doing YOLO. So, well, not final time I listen to it, but final time I'm like doing any kind of comparing and contrasting, all that sort of stuff. So, without any further ado, let's get into awkward acoustic. Looks like Konami and Psyche. Here we go. Okay, volume's all the way up. Still a little quiet, but here we go. Okay, is this just a collage? It's like a little music box thing. I'm a little confused by the video. I guess this is what you get when you go to an unofficial thing for YouTube. Well, hopefully the audio is at least decent. So we got some decent audio. Still kind of has that nice soft feel at the beginning, anyway. Love that vocal harmony. I like the reverb they have on there. Not sure if it's an effect or just the hall itself. Really like that harmony. assume it's just Konami playing this, considering that's all the images show. She's doing quite a lot though on there. The harmony is the highlight for me. That was beautiful. It was really beautiful. All right, gotta stop it to save it for the next one. There is so much to break down with this, but I haven't listened to the songs on a second time yet. I just kind of want to get my initial impression and thoughts down first before I start dissecting section by section. Like, I noticed the build up, and like it became more apparent. Like, I got used to it with the live version, where it's like, oh wow, that chorus wasn't as explosive as I thought, and then but then as it went on, like, you had a little bit more of a full fleshed out chorus and rhythm section, and so like you could see the progression throughout the song, starting off very light but then kind of building up to something very passionate and fleshed out fully and emotional. And I feel like the Band-Maiko version like really dialed that up to 11 with they started off even softer than the original studio version, and like the ending was like just even more full than the original version of Awkward. But it started off like with like some very soft, very slow traditional Japanese instruments, and then but by the end, not only do you like, they took a while to get the guitar and bass and drums involved in the song, but by the end it was there, and then they brought in all of the traditional Japanese instruments from what it sounded like, and it was just an even bigger climax to the song than Awkward was. And so like it was such a bigger contrast, and like I think that hits a lot harder, going from something so small, so quiet, so somber, to something fully fleshed out and outpouring of emotion, it sounded. So kind of revisiting, starting with the intro, verse, and first chorus, like one of the things I thought was really interesting that I missed the first time around, and I missed it mainly because like I hadn't heard the Band-Maiko version when I heard this when they were doing the opening live. So in both the original version of Awkward and the Band-Maiko version of Awkward, they very quickly get into Psyche singing. There isn't much of an intro, but there's like an extended intro on the live version. And it seemingly sounds like Konami took the instrumental portion, the very calm, subdued instrumental portion of the Band-Maiko version, and brought that to the guitar and added it on as like a prelude to the intro of the song. And I thought that was a really cool, like, at least if this was their intention anyway, it seems like a really cool homage to the Band-Maiko version without actually going full on Band-Maiko at the concert. I noticed that Psyche's vocals were kind of like the main focus. Like a lot of times Miku in a lot of Band-Maid songs is harmonizing, or like, you know, they're doing a little back and forth between Psyche's vocals and Miku's vocals. But Miku, at least from what I was seeing live, she's not singing at all. She's playing the rhythm guitar there, with like this. The guitars are not like these fully fleshed out, like long chords or anything. They're kind of like these rhythmic punch-ins. They're not like super staccato, but they're not like, you know, this fleshed out thing either. Misa's going on runs, and Akane's drumming seems very subdued, and like I like the progression, because like in the first verse you have you know, this very subdued rhythm section, and then in the second verse, like, it's a completely different riff. And with the first chorus, it almost feels like an extension of the first verse, where it's still very subdued. Then in the second chorus, it's a lot more fleshed out and full and explosive. So you just hear that progression throughout the song. In the first part, so I mentioned Miku doesn't really sing at all, but then for the second part, Miku finally does in and does some nice harmonies with Psyche, and they're really well blended. I really like how well Psyche and Miku blend when they sing together. With the first section of the song, like, you know, Miku was absent, but she's definitely present here, and I think that works really well as part of the build-up as well. That is a theme through this song. One of the things I noticed too is during the second chorus is like Miku's like the one playing the chords, and like Misa's going on these really fun runs, and her, both in the live and original studio recordings, her bass is very, very prominent in the mix, because she's not doing you know, just playing like the bass note for the chord that they're playing. It seems like they like amped her up a bit more in the mix, so she's definitely a lot more noticeable there. Adding to that whole, like, nothing is copy pasta at all in this song is the way that it's still kind of a slow-paced thing at the beginning of the second verse, but then like you get kind of like this really upbeat thing that Akane does brilliantly transitioning. Then kind of going over to the Band-Maiko version, you kind of have like this tease where like the guitars start to come in, and it's like, oh, we're gonna start really fleshing it out, and then it like pulls back and goes back into some of you know, the light you know, traditional instrumentation, and it starts to build a little bit in the second half of the second verse as well into the chorus, but like it's still very subdued comparatively to the original version of Awkward. So it's like Awkward, the original version, like you get this somewhat linear progression of like soft to the climax of the song, whereas Band-Maiko feels a lot more exponential, where it stays fairly low throughout most of it, and then like as it gets much closer to the end, it just fires up and gets to an even more fleshed out and more full like ending to the song. That bridge and guitar solo was just so different from the rest of the song, that it like you had like this emotional through piece through the song, even though each section of the song was, you know, different from everything else. Like not even the verses were similar, and the choruses were not really similar either. Well, I guess the second chorus, the final chorus sort of were, but outside of that, like you had like these very distinct sections, and there was no copy pasta. But the bridge section with the solo felt even more different than everything else. Like And it kind of going with the theme, it sort of felt awkward, because like what better place to put a riff that doesn't seem related to the rest of the song than in a song called Awkward. I just think I think it works that way, even though it just feels like something entirely separate. What I thought was kind of cool going out into the final chorus too is that they added orchestral type stuff in the background, and in the live version it's faint, but it is there. It's a little bit more prominent in the studio version, but in the live version it's a little bit more buried, but it is still there, and I appreciate that they kept that aspect of the song. But then getting into the Band-Maiko version, like you didn't really have like that rhythm guitar build up into the solo. They just kept Konami's guitar solo and just went straight from kind of like the more subdued traditional instrumentals to Konami's really cool guitar solo. And then one of the things I noticed about it too was that they drowned it in reverb. There was just so much reverb, and the solo became more of an ambiance than like a feature sort of thing. Then the pause going into the final chorus was a lot more a pause than with the original version of Awkward, which was a little bit more of like a, we're gonna go straight from this to this. We're gonna keep the energy levels up for the most part. Whereas it's a little bit more of a contrast in the Band-Maiko version. And then like the ending section with Konami's second solo. That solo, the first solo was a little bit more about Konami showing off like how good she is, but the second one was a little bit more of a theme with the song. She did have like some kind of cool like string jumping and quick part, but it was a lot more of this is an illustration of the theme and emotion of the song. And at the end too, like I really love that build up with the Band-Maiko version. I feel like it's just even more hard hitting than the original version of Awkward because of that contrast from how subdued it was at the beginning to just they throw everything in the kitchen sink at you in the end of the Band-Maiko version. And I feel like that hits me a little bit more emotionally, just having such a contrast, whereas Awkward doesn't quite get to that same level as the Band-Maiko version. So that is as much as I can think of. Okay, so having to do this, post the other ones because I had forgotten it in my initial run. I've been coming off of listening to the acoustic and then re-listening to the other three versions of the song. I think the main things, like, all of them start off, very, very serene and very soft, and same thing with the acoustics, except it keeps that vibe throughout the whole song, whereas like the other ones build. And I was very curious, considering like how, especially in the original version of Awkward and its subsequent live version, like you've got this just all out hard rock, crazy guitar solo sort of thing, and how that would be handled in the acoustic. And it's just very pleasant. It's just very pleasant. It's like such a contrast to the original version of the song, where it's just keeping chords with like some nice little suspended and interesting notes thrown into those chords and whatnot. And then the other major thing too that was a big difference was the ending, because in the original version you've got a second Konami solo, and it just kind of seems to be building through to the end. But in place of that, like Konami just kind of keeps the rhythm going, and like what would have normally been a guitar solo there is actually filled out by Psyche, doing her own fill. I don't know if it was just kind of like improv based on like her like in the moment how she's just wanting to express herself over the rhythm, because obviously there's no guitar solo, or if like that's carefully planned out. That'd be really interesting to see. Anyway, back to my original take on my comments. I really liked this emotional journey. I apologize for some of my awkward stating of things. I guess that just goes with the song, doesn't it? So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications so that you don't miss anything going forward. Leave a vote in the comments letting me know which Band-Maid or Band-Maiko song you'd like to see me do next. So if you guys are voting for you know, a song and there's like multiple versions of it, please like bring it to my attention, because I want to be able to do these compares and contrasts and not have to like revisit the same song multiple times. A little teaser, I am going to go back to Yellow to try and get the Band-Maiko version of that as well, but that'll be coming down the line. Also, if there's any other suggestions for other bands you'd like to see me do, leave those in the comments, and any vocal covers or guitar covers that you'd like to see me do, drop those in the comments below and I'll give you a shout out. Thank you to BM for Life and Jonas S for supporting me on Patreon. I really, really appreciate it. But now, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you, and rock on.